What is up, you guys? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I just now finished the second week of my 12-week year, and I found certain things to be helpful, and also I found some mistakes that I made these past 2 weeks that hopefully I'm not going to make these upcoming weeks. So I want to share them with you guys so that they're helpful, especially if you're just now starting your 12-week year, or even if you've already started. You can still implement these hacks that I found and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I've made. Now, before I get into the mistakes, if you don't know what the 12-week year is, it's basically taking your 12 months, which is 2024, your yearly goals, and basically shrinking them down into 12 weeks. So you're trying to achieve your yearly goals in a set of 12 weeks. So basically, every single quarter, you have new goals. Now, if you don't reach your goals at the end of the 12 weeks, you still have another 12 weeks to do it. Actually, you have 4 sets of 12 weeks, so that's what makes it a lot more actionable. And then you have your specific steps that you take to reach these goals. And the point of the 12-week year is that every single day you have specific steps that you're taking to reach these goals. You're not just going out the year just hoping that today I'm going to do something to move me closer to my goals. So now that we know what the 12-week year is, let's get into my first mistake. I feel like we all have these days where we have our to-do list, and maybe in the morning we didn't do 2 out of the 5 things that we set out to do. So for the rest of the day, we're just constantly like on ourselves, in our head, having these negative conversations with ourselves, basically beating ourselves up because we weren't able to finish these things. Like, today is Sunday. I went to church, but I did not go to the gym yet, and it's already 1:44. I haven't did any kind of movement. But instead of beating myself up about that, like, I'm not gonna do that anymore and focus on that. I still have the entire rest of the day to go and get some form of movement in to check that off of the list. So mistake number 1 is beating yourself up when you don't check every single thing off of your to-do list. Do not do this. This is very, very, very negative, and this can be one of the reasons why people quit early, is because they have these days where they're not checking everything off their to-do list, and they become really, really negative and engage in like this self-negative talk to themselves in their mind throughout the day. And then you just be like, okay, to hell with it. I'm just gonna forget about the 12-week year and just go back to what I've been doing. Please do not make this mistake. I'm very hard on myself, and I know that I'm capable of doing the things that I need to do to get to where I am. So when it comes to like beating yourself up, I feel like it's necessary sometimes, but I'm not talking about in a negative way. I'm talking about realizing when you feel like you didn't do something during the day and you actually could have, and you just were lazy that day. You realize and you take that accountability for yourself, and you say, okay, I didn't do this and I could have. Whether you're gonna write it down in your journal or tell someone about it, take accountability for that, but do not beat yourself up about it and start telling yourself all these negative things. That's not going to help you in the long run. The only thing that's going to help you when it comes to this is taking accountability. You know, you could have went and did your workout in the morning, but you didn't. Like, I understand that. I know that I've been sitting here building up the courage to film this video for the last hour when I could have been doing a workout and getting some type of movement. It's very hard to feel like you just wasted half of your day, especially when it comes to the 12-week year, because you have your to-do list every single day. So the solution to this is you just recognize that you fell short that day and you didn't live up to your full potential just for that one day. But do not beat yourself up and engage in this super negative self-talk. We're not doing that. Mistake number 2. Now, when I first set out to do this 12-week year, I was not working. I was on vacation. So when I started working, which was last week, I literally every single day up until like Wednesday or Thursday, I did not have my to-do list that was written down in my journal with me when I went to work. So there's certain things that I forgot about, like, oh snap, I'm supposed to be getting in 10,000 steps, or I'm supposed to be editing a video, or I'm supposed to be doing this, or all these things that I had on my to-do list. But because I didn't have it with me, I wasn't able, like, it just wasn't in my mind. Obviously, I'm at work, like, there's other things that I'm thinking about. So if you write down your to-do list in your journal, please transfer it from your journal to either the reminder app on your phone, or take a picture of it so that throughout the day when you aren't at home and you aren't thinking about it, you don't just completely forget about the things that you are trying to do and the actions you have to take that day to get closer to your goals. You don't just forget about it that day just because you don't have it with you. This was definitely a mistake that I made. I literally was going to work forgetting about my to-do list, and then coming home, it's already dark. You know, it gets dark earlier, and then being like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna transfer it to my reminders, and still forgetting to do it. So now I'll just write down my to-do list in my journal, obviously, and then take a picture of it on my phone. That way I just have it with me. Which also leads me to mistake number 3. I feel like when we first set out on our 12-week year, or any type of goals you have, even if you aren't doing the 12-week year, when you have any type of goal in mind, you don't realize that we are actually living a real life and that every day is not going to be perfect and things are going to come up. The mistake that I made was when there was unforeseen circumstances, like last week I had a birthday party, I had meetings that I had to go to, Zoom meetings, I started school. These things that were coming up that obviously I can't plan for them, because certain things were like the birthday parties and stuff like that, obviously I could plan for those. So for that type of thing, like when I went to the birthday party, I was like, okay, I don't have my meal prep with me, when I could have brought it with me and ate it. But in these circumstances, do not waver on your goals, okay? I do believe in balance, but right now we have goals that we're trying to get to. So plan for the things that you know you can plan for, and try to have systems in place for when things come up. So say, for example, something happens and I can't get my morning workout done, I'll do an at-home workout on the TV. Like, there's still certain things you can do just because it's not as specific and it's not the same exact thing. You can still take other steps that are still going to get you closer to your goal. Like, obviously I don't have a treadmill at home, but I can't do that, but I can do a cardio circuit on YouTube. Like, there's just certain things that I feel like we just are easy on ourselves and we're just like, okay, this came up, so I'm not going to do it. You cannot do that. Like, treat yourself as you would your friend or your family member if they came to you for help and they're like, what can I do because I missed this? What would you tell them? Would you tell them just forget about that workout? Like, just forget about it? No, you wouldn't. It's very easy to convince ourselves to just take the day off when these unforeseen circumstances pop up, instead of finding a way to implement new things into these new systems that we've created that are trying to actually get us closer to our goals. And when you find yourself making this mistake, this is the solution to that. What you're gonna do is stand on business. Stand on business when it comes to your goals, and stand on business when it comes to, you said you were going to do this, so you did this. So for example, last Friday I had a meeting. Well, I thought I had a meeting. Really, it's this Friday. So my meeting was set for in the morning, and usually it's at the time that I go do my workout. Well, the time that I go to the gym at. So instead of saying, okay, I can't do my morning workout, I'm just going to forget about it, I woke up earlier, which was around like 5 a.m., went, did my workout, came home, showered, had breakfast, got ready, and then went to my meeting. There are certain things that you can do to plan around these that is still going to allow you to check these things off your to-do list. Do not make excuses for yourself, okay? Which leads me to mistake number 4. Although it's only been 2 weeks, I feel like we still need to celebrate the small wins. Like, we've just finished up 2 weeks. Even if you've only completed one day and you did 50 to 80% of the things on your to-do list, celebrate yourself. It could be as simple as looking at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and telling yourself you're proud of you. We have to celebrate the small wins. This is what's going to keep us going and keep us excited about our goals. You have to treat yourself as you would your friend or like a small child. Show yourself as much love as you do the people around you. Like, think about it. If a child or one of your friends or something called you up on the phone and gave you good news, you would be happy for them. You would celebrate them. So celebrate yourself as you would the people around you. This is what makes the journey more enjoyable and gives us something to look forward to at the end of every week or every day, however you decide to celebrate. This is what's going to keep us looking forward to something, because in the end, you actually did what you said you were going to do, and that's building up discipline. And becoming a disciplined person is something to celebrate and be proud of. Like, you're literally moving the needle forward. You're putting in the work to get to where you want to be. You should be celebrating yourself. We are on to mistake number 6, and I feel like this is a lot of our like biggest problem, especially mine. I'm very, very guilty of this, but there have been many days in this past 2 weeks where I have literally found myself just relaxing, scrolling on my phone, scrolling on social media, watching funny videos. Like, I'm a girl who loves to laugh, so if I find something and it's hilarious and it's entertaining, I'm gonna go to that page and I'm gonna binge watch everything. And I am very, very guilty of this. This is something that I do too much. I understand we all have our time to relax, but the mistake that I made these past 2 weeks that I do not want you to make on your 12-week year journey is having poor time management. When you know, like, there was certain times I literally knew I could be planning a video, I could have been editing a vlog, I could have been walking Sky, I could have been meal prepping, but instead I was just on my phone, meaninglessly scrolling on Instagram. We cannot waste any more time on this. Like, our phones are like our biggest downfall. I feel like, well, my phone is my biggest downfall for me because this is so entertaining. But the way that we're gonna fix this is you set aside specific time to finish your task, and then towards the end of the day, you give yourself time to scroll on social media. So for example, I put my timer on and I have a full 2 hours to just sit and get as much editing as I can done within one video. I have 2 hours set aside where I'm just doing complete schoolwork, whether I'm studying, whether I'm finishing assignments, whether I'm planning out what day I'm gonna do each assignment, whether I'm studying for a test, whatever it is. I literally put a timer on. I cannot touch my phone and I'm getting these things done. Doesn't matter. Like, you have to set your timer. And even when it comes to just scrolling on Instagram, if you want to have some time where you're responding to comments, like when I'm responding to YouTube comments or Instagram comments, whatever it is. I have my timer on and I'm doing that. Once that timer goes off, you move on to the next task. This is our solution to just finding ourselves meaninglessly just scrolling on Instagram, and you get caught into these periods where you've been scrolling for like 2 to 3 hours. That is insane, and that is so much time just being wasted, especially for me. If I am on my phone, like, girl, you could be researching another video you want to do, you could be researching whatever, but instead you just sitting on Instagram just laughing up a storm. Like, no, we're not doing that. Set aside your time. When the timer starts, that's when you're actively doing it. If you get up and you go and talk to someone in your house, or you go for a snack, you pause the timer. Like, I'm not kidding. You pause the timer, because that doesn't count. You have to actively be sitting there doing the task for 60 minutes. If you say you're going to do it for 60 minutes, getting up, going somewhere else, going to use the restroom, you pause the timer, and then you come back, and then you resume it. And then you go back to your task. Once it goes off, you move on to your next task. This has been like, ooh, a game changer. Chef's kiss. You gotta try it. So these are just a few of the mistakes that I found myself doing in the 2 weeks of me doing my 12-week year, and I just want to make sure that you guys can learn from my mistakes and hopefully apply the solutions that I've given you. Hopefully they work for you. Please let me know in the comments what week you're on, what day you're on, if you decided to do the 12-week year. And like always, if you have any other mistakes or solutions that you want to add to the comments, please do so, because I'm very serious about us reaching our goals this year. Like, it's 2024. We're not playing no games. I love you guys, and thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.